Now, we know the original bird was smart enough to drop pebbles into a pitcher to raise the water level. That was genius back then. But what if that bird had access to today's technology? How would a super smart crow solve that exact same life-threatening problem in the 21st century? To figure this out, we kind of need to set the scene first. Welcome to the modern jungle. And guys, this isn't just a place with trees and vines anymore. It is a fully connected ecosystem. Imagine a jungle where the animals aren't just foraging, they're swiping on smartphones, they're surfing the web. You've got Wi-Fi literally bouncing through the canopy. It's this incredibly fun, totally relatable digital reality that mirrors our own world, and it sets the stage perfectly for a modern problem solver.
And that brings us to exactly who that problem solver is. Meet our main protagonist, Kaboo the Crow. Now, Kaboo's not your run-of-the-mill bird. He is incredibly smart, highly curious, and most importantly for our story today, he's a massive tech lover. He's basically the ultimate early adopter of the animal kingdom. He represents the modern learner, someone who doesn't just accept things as they are, but genuinely wants to know how things work and how tools can make life so much better.
But of course, even in a high-tech world, nature still has its way. The jungle has just been hit with a summer crisis. A period of extreme, punishing heat has rolled in. The rivers? Completely dried out. Ponds are totally empty. But there's also this very modern and honestly very unfortunate environmental detail here too. The ground is absolutely littered with discarded plastic bottles. It's just an agonizing situation. You've got severe heat, unbearable thirst, and just the taunting presence of human trash everywhere.
So, desperate, thirsty, and totally exhausted, Kaboo is searching everywhere. And finally, he spots something. Just one thing. He manages to find exactly one old jar. Yep, just one. But there is a massive catch. There's a tiny bit of water left in there, sure, but it is trapped all the way at the very bottom of the jar. Naturally, Kaboo tries the physical approach first, right? But his initial attempts completely fail. First, he tries pushing the jar over. He's pushing and pushing with his little wings, just hoping to spill the water out so he can drink it right off the dirt. But it doesn't budge. It's way too heavy. Then, he tries the obvious biological solution. He tries stretching his beak all the way down into the jar, but it's just impossible. His beak simply isn't long enough to reach the water. He is entirely stuck. But then, right as frustration really sets in, something magical happens. A simple notification goes off on his smartphone, and that little digital chime just sparks a brilliant idea. Kaboo suddenly remembers he doesn't just have to rely on his beak and his physical strength. He's got the entirety of the internet right in his pocket. So he pulls out his phone, opens up his browser, and runs a quick Google search for how to drink water from jar.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is what he actually finds, and even more importantly, what he chooses to do with that information. His search results immediately show him that classic fable solution, dropping heavy stones into the jar one by one to slowly raise the water level. But think about it, that is exhausting, time-consuming manual labor. Kaboo looks at this outdated, heavy-lifting method and just makes a conscious decision to reject it entirely. He knows he can do better. He wants a new, tech-savvy solution that works smarter, not harder.
Let's move to the next step and see how this builds, because this is exactly where Kaboo's modern genius truly shines. Instead of flying around looking for heavy rocks in the sweltering heat, he just looks at the modern environment right around him. Step 1, he finds a discarded plastic pipe or straw, right there among the litter we talked about earlier. Step 2, he places that long straw deep into the jar, completely bypassing the depth problem, and Step 3, he just drinks the water. I mean, he so smartly repurposes human litter, turning this huge environmental negative into a literal life-saving positive.
Slurp. Ta-da! The water comes rushing right up the straw, and the relief is just instant. This is the absolute climax of his problem-solving phase. He didn't have to spend hours carrying rocks, risking even worse dehydration. No, by combining modern tools, environmental awareness, and a bit of critical thinking, he achieved success in seconds. He survived the crisis.
But guys, here is where the story gets really fascinating. We have to ask ourselves, is just surviving actually enough for a smart bird? Does Kaboo simply quench his thirst, pack up his little smartphone, and fly away to enjoy the rest of his day? Well, if he's a true modern innovator, the answer is absolutely not. He realizes that if he's out there suffering, the rest of the jungle is definitely suffering too. So he decides to shift his focus from personal survival to real community leadership.
So, what exactly does a tech-savvy bird do? He grabs his camera. Kaboo records a video tutorial titled, "How to Solve Water Problem in Summer," and it instantly goes viral across the jungle's network. But he doesn't just, show off his cool straw trick. In his video, he actively teaches 3 core actionable lessons to all the animals. Number 1, save water. Number 2, please don't litter. And number 3, use your brain to actually solve problems. And the impact of his digital activism is honestly massive. The jungle's transformation is immediate. You've got the elephants, the monkeys, the deer, they all watch his video and instantly start saving water. The entire community begins actively recycling those discarded plastic bottles instead of just leaving them on the ground. So, by simply sharing his knowledge online, Kabu completely transforms the community's behavior. He doesn't just save himself, he literally becomes the ultimate jungle hero.
So the crucial point is how this story so brilliantly updates that classic moral framework for an audience today. When we compare the old fable to this 2.0 reality, the takeaways are incredibly powerful. Old knowledge, like knowing the water is way down at the bottom of a jar, that's good. But new thinking, using a straw instead of lugging rocks around, is even better. Technology, like a smartphone or the internet, is an amazing tool, but the real magic happens when you use it with a smart strategy. And finally, while environmental and personal problems are always going to pop up, innovative solutions are quite literally always out there waiting to be discovered.
Which brings us right to the end of our explainer today, and it leaves us with a highly important question staring right at you. What kind of bird are you? Seriously, when you're faced with a modern challenge, do you rely on those outdated, exhausting methods? Are you kind of lazy, just waiting for someone else to drop the rocks into the jar for you? Or are you smart, curious, and innovative just like Kabu? I want to challenge you to look at the tools you have, look at the problems right in front of you, and use your technology as smartly as our clever crow. Thanks so much for joining